Okay, so the last video, or the last couple, I talked about the number 31 with the Golden State Warriors, and for whatever the reason, I was at work and I thought to look up the Pope again with the whole 923 thing, and I noticed that he began his papacy on March 13th, 2013. So that would be 3/13/13. It's kind of like the mirror of, or it is the mirror of 31. If you look at it like this, it puts it in a better perspective here. Like 31, 31, 13, 31, whatever. But he's also 78 years old. And 1978 is 26 years after 1952. So it's basically half of 52. 26, 26, 52. Talked a ton of 52 with the Queen and 26. So another interesting thing then, the Queen was born in 26 and took her reign in 52, but she was also 52 years old in 1978. And what's interesting, so the Pope is actually coming to America in September of this year. And it would be, I don't know, I've seen a bunch of different places. There's some that say 923, some that say 924. Either way, it's pretty significant. Also, interesting that he's going to be visiting Philadelphia, and in Revelation 3:7, it talks about Philadelphia. It also, I mean, if you come and read it, it talks about making them the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, kind of like the Zionists. Pretty interesting stuff. So, just interesting that he's going to Philadelphia. And also, Pope Francis has been associated with San Francisco. For one, he's named after Saint Francis of Assisi, who San Francisco got their name from. So they're both named from the same person. San Francisco adds up to 122, and Pope Francis adds up to 122. Just the word Pope in general adds up to 52. There's just a whole bunch of things I've talked about with Pope and San Francisco. And also even the Golden State Warriors that are in the San Francisco Bay Area, even the Golden Gate Bridge there, on their logo, they were originally the Philadelphia Warriors. So this is the day that he began his papacy, 3/13/2013. And then I went to 9/23/2015. And look how many days it is. 924, like September 24th. So like I said, I don't know if he's coming this day or this day, but it's one of these days he's coming to America. And interesting, I've been talking about the day before. It seemed like because 52 times 7 is 364, and there's 52 weeks in a year, so it would be one day off, so the day before makes sense. And I showed a few examples. Here's just a few more. Michael Jordan, who I've talked about tons of things with Space Jam and him, he is 52 this year, and he was born the day before. There's also a TV show called The West Wing, and they have an episode called On the Day Before, and it is the 48th episode. So basically like one before 49. And it was actually written right around the time of September 11th attacks, and it was supposed to come out, I'm assuming right around there. They don't really say the day, but it came out on October 31st, but actually this episode was supposed to come out then. But they even mentioned August 9th in here, which is 8/9, and that is the Queen's 89, all kinds of stuff I made in a few videos back about 8/9 and the Queen. And I just thought of something too. August 9th to September 11th is 33 days. And 33 is significant always. But I looked up the popes that have been assassinated or murdered or something. And the last one that was believed to be murdered, they don't know for sure. There was only can't remember, the list was really short for actual known murdered. But then they had a huge list of assumed to be murdered. And it was Pope John Paul I was the last one. And it was in 1978. September 28th, 1978. And remember, Pope Francis is 78. The Queen was 52 in 1978. And he died 33 days into his papacy. And I mean, I think that's kind of interesting because I feel like they're foreshadowing all the San Francisco stuff. And they want you to think that something bad's going to happen in San Francisco. But I don't think it is. I think it's just something associated with it. Like maybe they're going to murder the Pope, Pope Francis. Who knows? But I mean, that's just a thought. You know, it's something that connects to it that isn't really connected to it, you know? So just a thought. It would also, American Pharoah just won the horse race. And the last one to win the horse race was in 78, which was 37 years ago. Interesting too. So the last horse to win it was affirmed, and he won the Triple Crown. Is what I'm talking about at the 1978 Belmont Stakes, and it was the 110th running of the Belmont Stakes. So, it was on June 10th, 6/10 of 78. 6/10/78 to the day Pope John Paul I died was 9/28. 110 days. So 110 days after the 110th Belmont Stakes with the last Triple Crown winner, the Pope was murdered or believed to be murdered. And this year, the Belmont Stakes was on 6/6, and it was the Triple Crown winner. But if you go 110 days from 6/6, it takes you to 9/24, the day the Pope is supposed to be coming to America. Or, like I said, the day before. So, really interesting. Also, 924 days after his papacy began is 9/23/2015. Also, September 11th, there is 111 days left until the end of the year. So September 11th would be the day before, 110 days left until the end of the year. Pope Francis is also the 266th Pope. And September 23rd is the 266th day of the year. Also wanted to point out in Gematria, the day before equals 11/4. So that's the 11/4 would be the day before the Back to the Future time travel day. But also in 44 and tons of stuff, 44th President Obama. But it also in Jewish Gematria, it equals 666. Also, Pope Francis was named after this guy, Francis of Assisi. He's the first person ever recorded to have the stigmata. And there's a movie called Stigmata. Need to rewatch it. It's been a long time, but it came out on September 10th, 1999, the day before September 11th. Even more interesting, though, if you go, Pope Francis is when he started being Pope, 3/13/2013, and you go to 9/10 of 2015, the day before September 11th this year, it's 911 days apart. I guess another thing about the day before, the time difference is from the East Coast in the United States and then to England, it says 8 a.m. is 1 p.m. So it's a 5-hour difference. But that would mean in California, it would be 3 more hours. So at midnight, will that be 5? It would be 2 o'clock. So midnight is the start of a different day. So if anything happened before 2 o'clock on the East Coast, it would technically be considered the day before as well. Pope Francis, his birthday is also December 17th, 1936. So he'll be 79 this year. But if you go from the Queen's birthday, her 89th birthday, and one day before the Pope's 79th birthday, is 239 days apart. So then I was just kind of messing around. I took the Queen's 26th birthday in 1952, the first year of her reign, and I added 924 days to it, and it comes to November 1st, 1954. So 54 is love, but it's 11/1/111. Interesting because 4/21 is the 111th day of the year, Also, September 11th, there are 111 days left until the end of the year. And I believe I made a whole bunch of stuff about this, but I can't remember it all so much. But the 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 Queen's birthday to September 11th is 4 months and 21 days to September 11th, and then 5 to May 2nd is 4 months and 9 days to September 11th, and February 9th is 5 months and 2 days. So just a whole bunch of 40 and 52 mirrors, and then just a whole bunch of stuff about this date. Also, I talked about this previously about Valentine's Day. It's all about Valentine's Day for whatever the reason, love and evil and whatever. But Valentine's Day 2015, if you add 176 days, it takes you to 8/9. And also, the Queen's birthday is 110 days before 8/9, and she is 89. And 110 we just talked about a little bit with the other pope and whatnot. If you subtract 176 days, it takes you to August 22nd of 2014. And August 22nd and August 9th are the same day from Julian and Gregorian. And then 1776 plus 176 years is 1952. And the Queen took her reign in 52 on 2/6, coronated on 6/2. Just born in 26. So many number 52s and 26s with her. But look what else adds up to 176. Back to the Future. And this movie has been super prominent in time travel and all kinds of stuff. They've been leading up to it. And Back to the Future also equals 176. And 176 is also 88 plus 88. And then you also have Back to the Future Part 2 that was, it's all about the year 2015 and the future and the Cubs win and all that. And so if you add the II to it, it comes to 194. Also in Jewish gematria, 888. But 194 is the amount of days after the anniversary of the Pope. So he became Pope on 3/13/2013. But if you put 2015 in here and you add 194 days, it takes you to September 23rd, 2015. Another thing I noticed, the mirror 4949 is the 99th day of the year, and there's 266 days left, just like the Pope is the 266th Pope. But September 23rd is the mirror date of this, 266th day with 99 left. So interesting that the 923 really does, even more so, go with the 49. Also, the 2-year anniversary of the Pope being the Pope, if you go to 8/9, it's 149 days. And 149 is flux capacitor, what makes time travel possible. And if they really are going to do an earthquake, which I don't think they're going to do, but just throwing this out there, just a thought, if 149 is flux capacitor, 149 is also May 29th, the 149th day, when the movie San Andreas came out, and flux capacitor makes time travel possible, and the San Andreas fault would make the an earthquake possible. And then 49 is what they call plutonium in the Manhattan Project. They also created plutonium-239, so that would be like nuclears or nukes or whatever that would maybe fuel the earthquake, the reason that the earthquake would go. And then I was thinking maybe the speed or the energy of the earthquake would be 8.8. So just who knows? I just don't think anything's going to happen, but just throwing it out there because I was thinking about it, I guess. Also, Richter scale that measures the earthquakes is 121, which is Revelation. And also in Jewish gematria is 404, and Pope Francis also equals 404. The guy who invented the Richter scale died at age 85 in the year 85, and it was 111 days before his 86th birthday. And Back to the Future also starts in 85. And Ghostbusters 2 said that Valentine's Day would be the end of the world in 2016. And this is the first day in Back to the Future 2. And it's 111